Let's be real, how many times have you found yourself thinking I'll get to it later when it comes to making a financial move? Maybe it's starting that business idea you've had for years, investing your first dollar, or even just learning how to handle money better. But here's the harsh truth, waiting will cost you. If you keep putting things off, your future self will look back and wonder why you didn't act sooner. We all know the stories of people who made millions. Those stories almost always start with someone making a decision to take action, no matter how small. What if I told you that today could be the day that sets you on the path to financial freedom? Right now you have the chance to take your first step, and the best part? It doesn't take a fortune to get started. The truth is, getting rich doesn't happen by waiting for some perfect moment, it happens by making a decision to act today. Stick with me, and I'll show you how taking just one bold move can start shifting everything. And trust me, once you start, there's no turning back, because you'll soon realize how easy it is to create wealth with the right mindset. Set a deadline for your first money move. Wealth doesn't wait for the perfect moment, it rewards action. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need everything figured out before they start. But the truth? You learn as you go. Set a 7-day deadline to make your first money move. Open that investment account, start that side hustle, or finally cancel that expense draining your wallet. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. Because if you don't put a clock on your decision, you'll keep pushing it off. And pushing it off? That's how years pass with nothing to show for it. Think of it this way, imagine two people who both want to start investing. One keeps researching, waiting for the right time. The other just starts with $10 in an index fund. 5 years later, the first person is still thinking about it, while the other has built thousands in assets. The difference? Action! No one ever got rich from just planning. They got rich from taking the first step and letting time do the rest. You don't need a perfect strategy, just a start. Not sure what your move should be? Keep it simple. If you've never invested before, download an app like Robinhood or Fidelity and buy your first stock. Thinking of starting a business? Sell something today, old clothes, a digital service, or even flipping items on eBay. Got a spending habit? Cut one expense, even if it's just a $10 subscription, and redirect that money towards something that grows. It's not about the amount. It's about training yourself to make financial moves without hesitation. The reality is, if you can't act on a small deadline, you won't act on a big one. People think they'll suddenly make bold moves when they have more money, but wealth isn't about what you have, it's about how you move with what you have. And speaking of movement, there's one simple habit that can literally put thousands more in your pocket every year. Commit to making $10 more every day. Most people believe getting rich requires huge breakthroughs, some big idea, a lucky investment, or a sudden windfall. But in reality, wealth is built in small, consistent moves. Imagine making just $10 more every day. Doesn't sound like much, right? But over a year, that's $3,650 extra in your pocket. Compound that over 5 years, reinvest even a fraction of it, and suddenly, you're sitting on tens of thousands. The key isn't how much you start with, it's proving to yourself that money is always within reach. Think about this. If someone handed you $10 right now, would you take it? Of course! But if I told you to go make that $10, your mind might freeze. Why? Because most people never train themselves to see money-making opportunities everywhere. The truth is, adding an extra $10 a day is ridiculously simple. Sell something you don't use, list a service on Fiverr, drive for Uber, rent out your driveway, or even cut a single unnecessary expense. The real challenge? Making this a habit, training your brain to find money instead of waiting for it. Take someone who starts today. They pick up a side hustle, like reselling sneakers or offering copywriting services. At first, it's just $10 a day, then $20, then $50. Fast forward a year, and they're making more from their small hustle than from their full-time job. That's how financial momentum works. It starts tiny, then snowballs. And the best part? Once you learn to make extra money on command, financial stress starts fading. Because now, you're not just relying on one income stream, you're building your own. If you can make an extra $10, you can make $100, and then $1,000. The real goal isn't the money, it's rewiring your mindset to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an earner. And once you do that, you'll realize the biggest financial game changer isn't how much you make, it's what you do with it. And that's exactly why automating your investments is the next move. Automate your first investment today. Most people say they'll start investing when they have enough money. But let's be real, when does enough ever actually happen? There's always another bill, another expense, another excuse. The secret? Start small, but start now. Even if it's just $5 a week, setting up an automatic investment forces you to build the habit. And here's the kicker, that small amount, consistently invested, can turn into tens of thousands over time. Wealth isn't built on how much you invest today, it's built on how often you do it. Think about this. If you had put $5 a week into the S&P 500 over the last 30 years, that would be worth over $60,000 today. And that's with an amount so small you wouldn't even notice it missing. The magic? Compound interest. The money you invest starts earning returns, and those returns start earning more returns. It's like free money working for you, 24/7. But here's what most people miss. The hardest part isn't choosing the right investment, it's just getting started. So let's make it easy. Pick an app like Acorns, Robinhood, or Fidelity, set up an automatic deposit, and let it run. Choose an index fund like VOO or VTI, or put your money in a high-yield savings account if you want something safer. The key is to remove yourself from the decision-making process. Because if you have to manually invest each time, you'll hesitate, overthink, or flat out forget. Automation takes emotions out of the equation and guarantees you're always building wealth. Here's the truth, the people who get rich aren't the ones who obsess over the perfect investment. They're the ones who start, imperfectly, but consistently. And once you automate your money to grow, the next step is to stop letting it leak out through unnecessary expenses. Cancel one expense and redirect it to assets. Most people don't realize how much money they waste every month. A $10 subscription here, a $5 daily coffee there, it adds up. But what if, instead of mindlessly spending, you redirected that money into something that actually makes you richer? Pick one expense today, just one, and cut it. Then, take that exact amount and put it into an income-generating asset. It could be stocks, crypto, a high-yield savings account, or even seed money for a side hustle. The goal isn't to deprive yourself, it's to make your money work for you instead of disappearing into things you won't even remember buying. Let's break it down. Say you spend $100 a month on subscriptions you barely use, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Apple Music, and a gym membership you keep meaning to use. If you cut just half of that and invest $50 a month into the S&P 500, in 20 years, you'd have over $30,000. And that's assuming you never increase the amount. Now, imagine doing this with 2 or 3 unnecessary expenses. Suddenly, you're building wealth without even changing your lifestyle. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep and where you put it. And don't think this only applies to small amounts. Ever met someone who makes 6 figures but still lives paycheck to paycheck? That's because income doesn't build wealth, choices do. Whether you're making $2,000 a month or $20,000, the rule is the same. Money left unmanaged disappears. Redirecting just 5 to 10% of your spending into assets can change your entire financial future. The difference between struggling and thriving isn't a massive paycheck, it's the discipline to keep more of what you earn. And once you've freed up some cash and started investing, the next step is to get laser focused on a plan for the next 30 days, because small wins build momentum, and momentum builds wealth. Let's talk about that next. Create a 30-day money action plan. Building wealth isn't about luck, it's about deliberate action, taken consistently. If you've been stuck in the same financial position for months or years, chances are you don't have a clear plan. That changes today. Take 10 minutes right now and write down 5 specific money moves you'll make in the next 30 days. They don't have to be huge, just strategic. Maybe you start a side hustle, read a book on investing, negotiate a raise, open an investment account, or sell something you don't use. Whatever it is, commit to one action per week and stick to it. Think about this. If you execute just one small financial move every week, that's 52 money wins per year. Imagine how much further ahead you'd be a year from now. Let's say your first move is cutting one expense and redirecting it to assets. Maybe that saves you $50 a month. The next week, you start freelancing on the side and make an extra $200. By the end of the month, you've added $250 to your net worth, and over a year, that's $3,000 or more from 2 simple actions. Small, consistent moves are what separate the wealthy from everyone else. The key is momentum. Ever notice how once you start winning, it's easier to keep going? That's because success is addictive. When you make even a tiny financial win, it changes your mindset. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. You stop thinking, I can't afford that, and start asking, how can I afford that? And that shift? That's where real wealth begins. It's not about making millions overnight. It's about becoming the kind of person who builds wealth automatically through smart habits. But here's the thing, who you surround yourself with will make or break your progress. If you're the only one in your circle leveling up financially, it's going to be an uphill battle. So let's talk about the one shift that can accelerate your success faster than anything else. Surround yourself with action takers. Success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you surround yourself with. If you're constantly around people who complain about money, avoid responsibility, and believe wealth is just for the lucky few, guess what? That mindset will rub off on you. On the flip side, if you're surrounded by people making moves, building businesses, investing, and taking control of their finances, you'll naturally start doing the same. Your environment shapes your financial future more than you think. So, who's influencing yours? The fastest way to upgrade your money mindset is to upgrade your circle. Find people who are where you want to be. Join a networking group, a mastermind, or an online community where financial success is the norm. Follow successful investors, entrepreneurs, and business owners on social media. Listen to podcasts and interviews with self-made millionaires. The more you expose yourself to wealth-building conversations, the more normal financial success will feel, and that's when things start shifting. Think about it. If your friends are talking about weekend plans and Netflix, but your new network is discussing stocks, real estate, and passive income, your priorities will change. Instead of asking, what should I watch? You'll start thinking, what should I invest in? That mental shift is worth more than any paycheck because it sets you up for a lifetime of financial growth. Success leaves clues, you just have to be in the right rooms to see them. Now, once you're in the right circle, there's one last decision that will separate you from the people who talk about wealth and the ones who actually build it. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. Make a decision today that your future self will thank you for. The difference between people who stay stuck and those who break through financially comes down to one thing: decisive action. Most people hesitate, overthink, and wait for the perfect moment, but the truth is, there is no perfect moment. Every successful entrepreneur, investor, or self-made millionaire had a point where they had to take a leap without all the answers. The only way to build wealth is to make a move today that your future self will look back on and say, that was the moment everything changed. So, what's one financial move you've been putting off? Is it starting that side hustle, investing your first $100, or finally learning how money works? Whatever it is, do it today. Don't wait until next week, next month, or when you have more time. Because if you keep waiting, you'll always find another excuse. Successful people don't wait for motivation, they create momentum by taking action before they feel ready. Think about it. If you had invested $1,000 in Apple stock in 2003, you'd have over $600,000 today. If you had started an online business 5 years ago, you could be making 6 figures from home right now. The regret of not starting is always worse than the fear of getting started. So make the choice today. Because 5 years from now, you'll either look back with pride or wish you had just taken that first step. And speaking of transforming your financial future, there's one more thing that can skyrocket your results, but most people completely overlook it. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. Remember how it felt to keep putting things off, waiting for the perfect moment that never seems to come? Now, you're taking action. You're no longer letting procrastination control your future. That's the mindset of someone who's ready to build wealth. And you're well on your way. But here's the thing. This is just the beginning. If you want to level up your wealth building journey, it's time to keep pushing forward. If you want to discover how to create passive income streams, eliminate debt, and build mental clarity under financial pressure, then you've got to take action today. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can keep learning the exact steps to grow your wealth, because your future self will thank you. If you're ready to take this a step further, click the link in the pinned comment now. Start transforming your life and finances today. It's your time to make the leap. Learn how to balance your mind and finances with strategies that actually work, and take control of your financial destiny. Check out the material in the pinned comment for all the details.